as his team bids for its first road win of the season. They are 0-4 away from home as we get ready to jump it up. And the opening tip is controlled by the blue-clad FDU Knights. And here's Terrence Brown. This is a player the Stags have to be aware of all afternoon long, averaging a tick over 23 points per game. Barbabe, a transfer into the program, his first touch. Here's a good shooter. Dylan Jones down low to Emmanuel. Banker is good. FDU takes the first lead.
And Fairfield will go man-to-man. They'll switch 1 through 4. Peyton Smith, the 5-man, will not get involved in switching defense.
There is a beautiful setup from Noah Best to Peyton Smith.
Now, both teams will run a motion. And if you watch, both teams will switch some. So look for both teams to take advantage, to try and take advantage of mismatches, especially in the paint area.
Cam Tweedy got the start today. Hands off in the corner to Brown, who shed Bleachmore. Off of the miss, Noah Best. As we mentioned, getting his second straight start. Chris Casey likes what he's bringing to the team defensively. He's very aggressive at the offensive end. Here's McQuee Reek. MAC Rookie of the Week off of a strong performance last weekend in the loss against Yale and the win against Vermont. Smith, kick out. Reek, here's the three. Off of the mark, and the rebound belongs to Emmanuel.
So that time, FDU switched 1 through 5 because they have that type of lineup with Cameron Tweedy as the 5. I thought Peyton Smith had a mismatch. Now, he's a great passer, and I know the game is about threes, but he had an open post play there, I think, if he would have kept it and made a post move.
Nice move by Brown, but he couldn't finish, and in a tie game very early, just underway from Fairfield, the Stags have it back. Reek guarded up top by Jones. There's a screen from Smith, and Reek fires. Joe, your first UFO of the season. That is a UFO, as you like to refer to it, as UFO, Italian for unidentified flying object.
100%.
There's the head coach of the Stags, Chris Casey. Great overall record here in his second full season with the Stags, 27-17. Trying to get his team back to 500 today. Stags come in with a record of 3-4. Up top is Tweedy. Didn't play at all last season because of a knee injury. Blew out a knee ligament as the shot is put up and through from deep by Jones, and we may see more of that from him today. He can shoot it.
Well, FDU head coach Jack Castleberry calls him an elite shooter. And it's ironic, Bob, he's right-handed, but he shoots the ball on the left side of his head, which probably means he's better going left. So when you're playing him, you better contest him on the left side of his head, not the right side, because if you don't do it the proper way, he's going to have open looks.
Tweedy committed that foul and over the top of Peyton Smith. Quick substitution here for the Stags as Matt Curtis checks in and McQuee Reek checks out.
I think it's a good move by Coach Casey, okay? Curtis got some run a couple of minutes against Yale. He didn't play against Vermont. Get him in early. I also think that you'll see Kyle Jenkins play early. I don't think they're going to play extended minutes in this particular game.
Curtis' teardrop is good, and Matt Curtis has his first points of the season.
Yeah, it's a great move. Under control, nice touch. We know Matt Curtis as a scorer. He can shoot. He can make that mid-range shot. This will be a welcome addition to Fairfield's offense once he gets his feet under him.
Terrence Brown, reverse, no good. Follow is good by Tweedy. 7-4, FDU by 3.
Now, Bob, I'm a little concerned if I'm the Fairfield staff regarding Terrence Brown. Now, you might say, well, he's 0 for 3, but he's had 3 open looks. He's a terrific scorer. You better make sure you play him so he doesn't beat you on the back cut, and you contest his shot, and you better block him out.
Best defended well through a pass that is knocked away. Scramble is on. Turnover for the Stags, who have been very good in that department so far this season. Emmanuel tees up a 3. Nice box out by Braden Sparks, wearing the white headband. Native of Georgia brings it into the front court for the Stags. Smith down low for Bleachmore. Tough pass to Corral. Does just that and scoops it up and scoops it through to make it a 1-point game.
Good job by Fairfield recognizing the mismatch. FDU switches defenses. They located him. Great pass. Good use of the left hand, as you said.
And the steal by Curtis tees up the 3. Wide left, weak side rebound, Sparks, reset for the Stags. Kick out to Best. Hesitating, giving for Curtis. They pick him up on the line, move him off the line, to the foul line. A little too hard on that delivery, and the Knights have it back. Brown, coast to coast, puts it up, puts it through.
Let's go.
FDU by 3.
Bob, one of the better players you'll see this year in the country in transition. He's so athletic, he's so crafty, and he has a soft touch. I love this kid, Terrence Brown. I think he's a big-time player, probably the best player in the Northeast Conference.
Nice answer from Braden Sparks to make it a 1-point game. So you have 4 different players who have scored early for the Stags. I'll tell you another thing about Brown. You look at him up close, he's a big guard.
And I talked to Jack Castleberry about him. He said, Joe, I can't get him out of the gym. He wants to play every minute. He's trying to limit him to 32 minutes, but Brown wants to play every single minute of every game.
Native of Minneapolis, misfires on that one, and the Stags have it back. Down by 1 as Curtis curls, gives for an open Bleachmore. Here's a 3. It is short, and Brown has the rebound. Knocking down those 3-pointers has been a challenge this season for Fairfield.
100%, Bob. They're 27% from 3 on the year. Again, with the addition of Curtis and Kyle Jenkins, 2 of the better shooters for Fairfield, those numbers will go up.
Good defense here by the Stags. Shot clock down to 10. Barbabe working on Smith, slips and travels. And the Stags will have it when we come back from our first time out. And when they get it back, they'll have a chance to take their first lead. FDU 9, Fairfield 8. We're back to Mahoney right after this.
Legends say these relics hold a great force, one that could change the course of history.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
It is not just a fragrance. It is a passion.
This is pocket full of same. Hey, I think I'm in the wrong commercial.
Wait, aren't you Andre?
No, I'm Shane.
Oh, you're supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial.
Oh, that makes sense.
If you're here, Andre is...
Something is different about you, man.
Fairfield and FDU meeting for the 26th time, a series that began back in 1956. Stags with a dominating advantage as far as this all-time series is concerned, and they have won 8 of the last 9 against FDU, and they're also working on a winning streak against NEC teams. They have won their last 5 games against NEC teams. They were 4-0 against that conference last season, and you extend it back another year, and that was a win against Sacred Heart to account for that NEC winning streak, Joe. And of course, Sacred Heart no longer a member of the NEC. In fact, 2 NEC teams, Northeast Conference teams, are now members of the MAC.
Well, as you know, Bob, my 18th year doing NEC games, and FDU done a terrific job hiring coaches. Tom Green was a tremendous coach. Greg Herenda took him to an NCAA or 2. Tobin Anderson, we know, is now the Iona coach, did a great job. And Jack Castleberry is doing a good job with this team. And that's a good sight for Fairfield, Bob. We talked about Matt Curtis and Kyle Jenkins coming back as shooters. Michael Rogan, as we know, is a shooter. Out for most of last year, banged that one. And there's another bang. That's a bang, boom. Joel Emmanuel, known for his athletic ability, gets the back cut. And here's the steal by my man.
And he misses the dunk. So after the bang, bang plays, not a third bang. And Best banged that one too hard off of the glass, Joe. Good play-by-play, by the way.
Yeah, so far it's been an exciting game. There's some talented players out here. Both teams trying to do with their defense, creating offense in transition.
New player in the game for FDU is Bismarck Ncaa, but that was not Ncaa right there. That was the kid we talked about as a good scorer. Manuel knocks down that long three. And here is Braden Sparks setting up for Rogan. 14-11, FDU. Beg your pardon, I said Emmanuel. It was Jones on the three. Sparks picking out for Curtis. 2 to shoot. Curtis does just that and knocks it down. He's early on this game, Joe. He's in a nice rhythm.
Well, remember last year in the CIT tournament, he was able to play 3 games because 3 of the players had NIL deals in place, if you will, and did not play. Okay, he was able to play major minutes and had 2 double-figure games.
Well, Jones made a 3 a moment ago, and this time he's going to get 3 free throws after being fouled by Curtis.
Yeah, that's a no-no. That's obviously a no-no. You don't want to foul a jump shooter. You certainly don't want to foul Dylan Jones. I mean, he's way out there, about 28 feet. But get your hand up, come out with short, choppy steps. Now, we know Dylan Jones has that kind of range, but if he's going to make that shot with your hand up, a simple hand up, give him credit.
Jones is new to this program. Junior out of Saratoga Springs, not New York, Utah. That's where he came from. He played a couple of years at Snow College, a junior college in Utah. Great three-point shooter at the JUCO level, 42% from behind the stripe. And from the free throw line, Joe, in a very small sample size, he's now perfect. He's made his first 5 free throws of the season, trying to make it a perfect 6 out of 6. New players on the floor for the Stags.
And Dylan Jones is one of those players who's maybe not necessarily great in the motion that FDU runs, okay? He's one of those guys where you want to set down screens, single, double screens on the baseline to free him up. We already saw how quick his release is. Give him some space on a set play, and he'll knock it in.
Johnson couldn't get that one to fall down. That's Prophet Johnson on the floor now. Bareem Masek is on the floor, and so is Dion Perry and Jamie Bergens and Mike Rogan. So basically a complete reshuffling of the lineup, Joe.
Well, there's a Sec. We know him as a shot blocker and an offensive rebounder. He's playing with a lot more confidence offensively, but for him to be effective, he's got to operate in that 15 and in area.
Bergens switched to the left hand, Sec on the rebound, and he'll go to the line to shoot too. And he likes to see FDU. He had 13 against them last year in New Jersey, and that was his career high. And Sec will go to the line when we come back from this timeout.
Miles per hour with only spandex and lip balm for protection, you definitely don't want to buzz. You want cold, crisp, great-tasting American beer without the booze. Because staying upright is kinda important, right? Headlam, brewed to be wild.
And move your right foot. There you go.
This young girl's breakthrough, just being a kid, was made possible by another breakthrough. The discovery of a game-changing drug that's delaying the onset of type 1 diabetes for years to come. That's the pioneering research of Yale School of Medicine delivered through Yale New Haven Health. Together, we're powering breakthroughs with the greatest of care.
We're sorry that we only serve crispy, crunchy, juicy chicken. We're sorry that we only use the best ingredients. We're sorry that other chicken sandwiches just don't do it anymore. We're sorry that it's so good.
The best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
Out of the timeout, you see our guy Bareem Masek flexing, Joe. He's feeling his oats against FDU, isn't he?
Yeah, he like, Bob and I have gotten to know him a little bit, and he's a great personality, wonderful person. And, you know, whenever somebody that size, I mean, if he stood sideways, it'd be hard to see him. But whenever somebody does some yeoman's work in the paint, you got to flex your muscles a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
He was fouled by Braden Reynolds, and here's Sek to the free throw line, where he's been about average this season, 7 for 13 from the foul stripe. First one is up. Rolls out, and as I mentioned, again, going into the break there, Joe, Sek had 13, a career high last year down at FDU. That was a resounding win for the Stags. That was the game early in the season where the Stags kind of served notice what they could be offensively. They put up 92 points in that game.
Well, Jack Castleberry took over for Tobin Anderson. Tobin Anderson, as we know, is a press guy all over the court. Castleberry pressed a lot last year. It's not really his thing. He felt he had to do it. This year, he's more of a half-court team, and he certainly likes his team, and he's more comfortable coaching this way.
That's a deep three. Barbe, rebound tipped by Rogan. And it is snatched by Prophet Johnson, who leads the Stags in points and in rebounds and in assists. And he almost had his first 2 points of the game right there. Instead, he will try to earn them from the free throw line. Prophet Johnson has been the guy all season long, Joe, who has filled up the box score for the Stags.
Bob, you're going to see a replay of this drive, but I want to make a point at the beginning of this drive. You know, I had one of my keys for Fairfield to push the ball and create offense off their defense. I'm sorry, I had FDU not to turn the ball over. I had FDU not to turn the ball over. You look at Casey's here, 39th year of coaching, but I had FDU not to turn the ball over because Fairfield's best offense has been creating stuff off their defense. Now, that's a long, quick shot by FDU, okay? Long shots mean, Bob?
Long rebounds.
Long rebounds. So long rebounds allow you to get out and run. So a long, quick shot is almost like a turnover. And that allowed Prophet Johnson to get ahead of steam and get to the spot he most comfortable off the dribble drive to the rim.
And make 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. At the other end, Jones, deep on the right side, misfires that time. Here's Johnson up the sideline. Stags dressed in white, trimmed in red. Here is Bergens. Dion Perry. Bottled up, reset. Give and go, pick and roll, executed beautifully, and the Stags have tied the game.
Hey, Bob, Dion Perry has really, really struggled from the field. But lately, especially against Yale, 4 turnovers, no assists. This game, you can see he's got that point guard mentality where he can make the right pass.
Dion Perry, who has not been able to knock down those threes this season, misses on the long attempt. Barbe. Here is Brown delivering and rolling out. He has not had a friendly rim so far today.
Bob, let me correct myself. I said Yale. Dion Perry in the last game against Vermont, 4 assists, no turnovers.
All even at 17. Johnson. Perry comes off the screen. Another screen, so there's the switch. Perry blowing past Barbe, kicking out for Bergens, driving, putting on the brakes, in and out. Both teams finding the rim unfriendly on the last respective possessions. Here's Brown. You know he's going to get his game going eventually, and that time he is checked, held up top by Dion Perry. Our officials today are Greg Evans, Adam Flory, and Vasily Malios. Hockey line change for the night, something we see Chris Casey do often with the Stags.
Well, Fairfield's already, we're about a little over 10 minutes in, and Fairfield's played 11 guys already. And if you're sitting there, you're saying, wow, how can you get any momentum? But the big thing here is Casey tells his guys, it's not about starting. It's about the quality of your minutes played. And that second unit, if you will, comes in with just as much enthusiasm as the first unit.
So that last foul on the floor, new man in the game, Jacob Warren. Big man holding up high, handing it off for Brown, who draws the double team, gets rid of it. Barbe, Emmanuel. Now Brown has the ball poked loose, turned over. Jamie Bergens takes it all the way to the hole and draws the foul, hit hard, knocked to the floor by Jameel Morris, who had just checked in for FDU. During that last dead ball, by the way, Kyle Jenkins checked in for the Stags, Joe. It's the first time we've seen him on the floor for Fairfield since the Rhode Island game, the opener.
And we talked about enough already. There's got away with a foul there, but there's Prophet Johnson doing what he does, getting to the basket. I'm sorry, that's Jamie Bergens. He is very similar to Prophet in that he has the ability to get to the rim. You know, I get those two guys mixed up once too many times. But anyway, here comes the big fella, Ncaa. This will be player number 13 Fairfield has played, and it's 9.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I talked to Chris about that, Chris Casey, and he said that is part of the Fairfield game plan. Try and wear you out by using the superior numbers.
And we saw that in the last home game against Drexel. They were down double digits. 19, Bob? Was it 19? Something like that. We're getting old. But it was something in the teens, and it came out in the second half, and they just wore down Drexel team. They wound up losing, but they made it a game.
That's a turnover in FDU, and the Stags will get it back. This is a 6-0 run for the Stags. They have the lead for only the second time today. They had an 11-9 lead. Now they're up by 2, and they get the ball back.
Bob, that's a third turnover for FDU. They have a positive assist-to-turnover ratio as a team.
Johnson tried to feed Ncaa down low, and the ball got knocked away, so the Stags will inbound. Baseline inbounds with 18 to shoot, 9:09 to go in this entertaining first half so far. Ball slapped away, FDU saying our ball. That will not be the way it goes. It'll be Fairfield inbounding now with 16 to shoot.
Bob, most teams, every team scouts your out-of-bounds plays, so you know when you line up, you have to make an extra V cut. You have to cut harder. You have to be a little more deceptive to create space to get the ball in bounds.
This time they get it in bounds to Perry. Bergens. Ncaa sets the screen. And then the reach-in foul is going to be called. This will be the 15th foul on FDU with exactly 9 minutes to go in this first half. Stags have only 2 team fouls.
Yeah, there's just too much hand action right there. Jameel Morris, who's another athletic guard that comes off the bench from New Jersey. Bob, I think we got an offensive foul there somewhere.
Definitely an offensive. It's going back to FDU. Ncaa on the illegal screen. Chris Casey wants the explanation. So the Stags give it up, leading by 2.
Yeah, you saw the replay. That's an elevator screen where you close the doors with your 2 big guys and you sneak a player through. Ncaa just was setting that screen.
Well, Ncaa did a nice job defensively, Joe. Comes away limping, and there was also an FDU foul. That's their 16th foul, and Ncaa trying to walk it off.
Got a start last game against Vermont. His future is ahead of him is going to be great. Offensively, he's good around the basket. Defensively, he's got good timing. As good as he was at Bridgeport Prep playing for Greg Thomas, a fine coach there, you're playing at this level requires experience.
Prophet Johnson working on Morris, good ball defender. There's the handoff for Jenkins, looking for his first points at home as a Stag, and then on the rebound, Johnson gets hammered, falls to the ground as Jacob Warren came over and knocked him to the deck.
Well, I highlighted before the game that FDU needs to block out, and you're going to see a replay. Good position here, goes with the left hand. Prophet Johnson, one of the better offensive rebounding guards in the country, a little under 4 offensive rebounds per game, and he only plays 25 minutes. So if you're guarding him, your work is done. Your work should begin before almost the shot goes up from the opponent. You got to make sure you know where he is at all times. You got to get out to him and make contact. Don't let him get into that paint area.
8:26 to go in the half, Joe, and the Stags are already in the bonus. 1-1 for Prophet Johnson, and he continues this Fairfield run as he makes the first of the 1-1.
Bob, if you throw 10, 11, 12, 13 players at your opponent like Fairfield's doing, and they come in fresh, they become quicker with their cuts, with their movements. You can wear teams down to the point where they get tired and they become sloppy on defense and commit fouls. You're seeing that a little bit early on here.
Stags have made their last 4 free throws in this game, and they have a 4-point lead as we approach the 8-minute mark of half number 1 from Fairfield, Connecticut. Cam Tweedy gives it up. Morris, Emmanuel. Here is Barbabe. Stags defending well here as Emmanuel takes to the elbow. Tough shot, goes in and out. Johnson had his hands on the ball and then lost it off of his thigh. From his reaction, and I think if we were in the NBA, he'd be twirling his finger looking for the replay. But it'll be FDU ball when we come back. They'll have 20 to shoot and exactly 8 minutes to go in the half, with the Stags leading the Knights by 4.
When you order Domino's online, we'll give you a free pizza to use for a future pizza emergency. So you'll have an emergency pizza. A free pizza when you need it most.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Our generation isn't turning away from the world's problems. Watch us fly ahead, rise to every challenge, and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
It is not just a fragrance. It is a passion.
This is pocket full of sand. Hey, I think I'm in the wrong commercial.
Wait, aren't you Andre?
No, I'm Shane.
Oh, you're supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial.
Oh, that makes sense.
If you're here, Andre is...
Something is different about you, man.
Fairfield has trailed by as many as 4 in this game. They lead by 4. They're on an 8-0 run. They have held FDU scoreless over the last 4+ minutes of this game, Joe. Their leading scorer, talking about FDU, Terrence Brown, he's struggling so far. 1 for 7 from the field. He has only 2 points.
Well, both of the FDU came in shooting almost 40% for 3. Fairfield 28%. This has become a grinded-out type game. Both teams are combined 3 for 13 from 3. Both of these teams are well coached, so you're going to see a lot of offensive sets, a lot of movement to get the ball into the lane for putbacks, for layups, for putbacks, offensive rebounds. So right now, it's a fun game because it's competitive, but most of the fun is happening in the lane and from the free throw line.
Out of the timeout, Knights inbound. That is Tweedy, the Maryland native, working on Ncaa. He takes him to the hole, and the Fairfield run is over. It's a 2-point game.
So out of the timeout, FDU does exactly what I said. Pound it in, get the ball to Tweedy, who missed all of last year with an ACL. Was actually 2 years ago a formidable player for their Ncaa team. He's a big-time help off the bench for FDU.
A little too strong on that shot. Prophet Johnson misfires. You know Brown's going to get it going eventually. Let's see what he does on this possession. That is Tyree Barbabe. We solved the mystery today, Joe. His first name is Ahmed, but he goes by his middle name, Tyree. Nobody seems to know as Emmanuel puts up the 3, and FDU's back on top by 1.
Well, you like that about Emmanuel. Last year, 26% from the 3. This year, 39%. So he's definitely worked on his three-point shot in the offseason.
BERGENS, the lefty, switched to the left hand, banked it home. Fairfield by 1.
BERGENS just real good. Him and Prophet getting into the lane where they're comfortable. Both players adept at using both hands. That's a tough 2 and a big basket for the Stags early on.
Barbabe, New Jersey native, out of Piscataway, gives for Brown, tried to deliver it underneath, and the pass got deflected, leaving FDU 10 seconds to shoot. 6:37 to go in this first half. FDU 3-5 coming into the game. The Stags 3-4. As you see, Brown's pass knocked away, setting up an inbounds, and it's triggered by Brown inside to Tweedy. FDU by a point.
Just bad communication on the defensive end by Fairfield. Too easy a basket on the out-of-bounds play for FDU.
So Fairfield down 1 with 6:21 to go in the half. Perry guarded by Brown. Jenkins the touch. Bergens on top to Johnson, 5 to shoot, and the push and the foul on Brown, and that's going to send Dion Perry to the line to shoot here in the 1-and-1 with 6:07 to go. We're in the first half, and here comes Perry, a 87% free throw shooter, getting hammered there by Brown.
Just a bad job by Brown. When you're guarding someone that far away from the basket, yeah, you want to contest the pass, deflect it, maybe steal it, but you got to use your outside hand. Once you turn your body and use your inside hand, there's more of a chance contact will come. And then, if you don't get the steal, that player, in this case Dion Perry, will have an easy basket, easy path to the rim because you're out of position.
Barbabe throws it into the backcourt, and there's the backcourt violation. Perry almost outraced Ncaa to the ball, and would have been interesting if he'd won that race.
Well, it's interesting because if he touched the ball first before Ncaa would have been able to pick it up and then bring it back up.
True, too.
Good hustle by Fairfield. Both teams trying to use it. It's ironic, Bob. Last year, both teams played up-tempo. Okay, Castleberry and FDU with their press, and Fairfield. There's what I'm talking about. Okay, with Bergens and Prophet Johnson able to get in there, but Fairfield with their fast offense up and down. Both teams now want to be better on the half court. Castleberry knows he can score, but he wants his team to be able to win the games in the 60s.
It's going to be a traveling violation on Dylan Jones, so it goes back to Fairfield. They have regained the lead by a point, 25-24. Get a look at that last travel, and that was created by a nice dig down there by Dion Perry.
You know, it's so hard to help these days with your body. When you're growing up, you're taught don't reach with your hand. But once you commit your whole body, there's an opportunity for a kick out and three. Good job by Fairfield in their team defense causing the turnover.
6 turnovers on FDU, and Peyton Smith showing off the nice touch by the big man.
You got to be impressed with Big Peyton. He's gotten himself in better shape. He's running the court. He's better on the offensive glass. A little more confident. We know he can shoot the 15-footer. That's a good-looking basket.
And Ncaa gets free, set up nicely by Emmanuel. 1-point game. Getting back to Peyton Smith, I was talking to Chris Casey about him, and he is so pleased with his progress as Emmanuel comes up with, Ncaa comes up with the block. Peyton Smith really has been a hard-working and rapidly improving big for Fairfield and in the conference. As Brown gives FDU the lead again, 28-27. And I keep repeating it, Joe, but set your alarm clock on him because it's eventually going to go off.
Yeah, I mean, he's a natural scorer, and he took advantage of the height advantage at 6'3" that he had on Dion Perry, who's listed at 5'8". Under control, little spin in the lane, rose up, made a tough shot look fairly easy.
Turnover on Fairfield, and that is their 4th of the game. They average only 10 turnovers per game. That is the best mark in the MAC, and in turnover percentage in the country, they're in the top 50. So that's a positive aspect of what Fairfield's doing so far this season. But Prophet Johnson with the traveling violation. He takes a seat for now, and FDU has it back with a 1-point lead. Good competitive game here. A lot of swings of momentum so far in this first half, going either way. And right now, the arrow pointing toward FDU as Barbabe is bumped by Bergens. So now the team foul starting to tick upward for the Stags. 4:11 to go in this half. FDU's been in a penalty for a while. That's the 4th team foul on Fairfield with 4:11 to go in half number 1. So this will be a baseline inbounds for Brown. Averaging 23 points a game. Had 23 in their last game. That was a loss on Tuesday against St. Peter's, a buzzer loss. to the Peacocks. Bryce Eaton going coast to coast and laning in at the buzzer to give the Peacocks the win. And Ncaa giving it for Reynolds. Extra pass inside for Barbabe. Nice ball movement there and unselfish play.
Both teams, as we talked about, positive assist-to-turnover ratio. Braden Reynolds from Pittsburgh, not a great three-point shooter, was rising up to shoot with his head up, able to see the cutter and make the beautiful pass.
That's going to be an offensive foul on the Stags, so the momentum clearly has shifted once again to FDU after Fairfield had surged in front in this game. Now it's the Stags playing for behind, and FDU will get it back when we come back with FDU on top by 3.
This is where we thrive. The city, the shore, our home.
This is where we chase our dreams.
Donde trabajamos duro por nuestra familia.
And serve our communities. This is where everyone, from all walks of life, works together as one team.
This is the place where we grow and become our best selves.
This is Chick-fil-A Tri-State.
Illicit Brewing Company in Fairfield, Connecticut has everything you need for a night out. Dozens of house-brewed draft beers, guest taps, a full bar, live entertainment, dozens of TVs to catch the game, a speakeasy and game room, brew pub style food offerings, and more. This commercial isn't long enough to show you everything Illicit has to offer. So come see it for yourself. Illicit Brewing, 111 Black Rock Turnpike in Fairfield. IllicitBrewing.com.
Fairfield basketball on ESPN Plus is brought to you by Connecticut Basement Systems, also known as the All Things Basementing Company. They'll transform your wet basement into a dry, usable, healthy space. Call Connecticut Basement Systems today at 866-268-9002 for an exclusive Stags quote. Great Thanksgiving, and we're glad you're spending part of your holiday weekend here with us. FDU on top by 3. Joe, how was your Thanksgiving?
Great, great. We actually celebrated it a day later, which was a little strange because my son Greg, who lives in North Carolina, could only arrive by Friday. So we got everybody together. Good to see the grandchildren. Ate a lot, and you know it's all about turkey sandwiches for the rest of the week.
Yes, sir. Little cranberry on the side if it holds up for you. FDU's on a run here, 13-6 run. Emmanuel gives up for Brown. Here's the 3, front rim. Peyton Smith has the rebound, and Fairfield down by 3 with the ball. 3:10 to go in the half.
Bob, don't like that shot by Brown. He caught it going backwards. It's a good opportunity to raise up and shot fake. All right, everybody knows he's a good three-point shooter, over 40%. Little shot fake, get that defensive player out of position, off balance, and then take a drive or a pull-up, depending on where the defense is.
More free throws coming up for the Stags. They are 6 for 9 from the free throw line so far today. Fairfield's led by as many as 4. They were on an 8-0 run and went up 21-17. Since then, it's a 13-6 run by FDU as Best in the 1-and-1 misses. Stags again hurting themselves from the free throw line, Joe.
Yeah, that's a problem. The positive here, we talked about the bench. You know, who are the starters and who are the bench guys? We don't know. 19-2, Fairfield outscoring FDU from the bench. That's a big number right now.
Stags do go deep. Here's Tweedy shooting over Peyton Smith short. Smith corrals the rebound. That is Braden Sparks, coast to coast, puts on the brakes. Unfortunately, the brakes did not hold. Another turnover on the Stags.
You know, I like the last possession on both teams when FDU had the ball. Tweedy was pounding. There was no double teaming coming, so he wasn't afforded the opportunity to kick, so he kept the ball. Give Peyton Smith credit. He contested it and without fouling.
Smith had it, and then Smith stepped on the sideline, so it'll go back to FDU. Just under 2.5 to go. Third home game of the season for Fairfield. They have a win over John Jay, a loss against Drexel so far at home. They're coming off a neutral site multi-team event last weekend at Mohegan Sun, where they were beaten by Yale and had a very exciting win over Vermont 1 week ago today. Stags will be home on Wednesday to play Ryder in their conference opener. Whistle blows, blowing this play dead, and let's see who they've got on another Fairfield foul. Noah Best commits the foul. Fairfield now one shy of being in the penalty.
Bob, you're seeing a handoff, and this is what basketball is about on a collegiate level. A lot of handoffs and a lot of ball screen. That time, Joel Emanuel came over the ball screen and slipped it. It's called a ghost screen. Was able to create space and got fouled.
Johnson leads the team in steals, and he comes up with one there to give Fairfield the ball back as we approach the 2-minute mark of this first half. Fairfield down 3. Sparks into the paint. Bleachmore working on Tweedy. Has the ball knocked loose, but these will be more free throws for the Stags. And Joe, a Fairfield team that missed the front ends of 3 separate 1-and-1 situations, don't have to worry about that right now because they're in the double bonus.
Well, looking at the replay, I didn't think this was a foul per se by Tweedy. Let's see if he gets ball. He got a little arm, but my point was going to be, and Bob, we've worked together 18 years now, anytime you slap down at the ball, even if it's not a foul, it looks like a foul. And with 3 referees out there, they're going to call it. So Tweedy did a good job holding his ground, but the moment he slaps down, boop, you get called for the foul.
Well, 5 misses from the free throw line in his first half, Joe, and we expect this to be a close game. So this is a number that could come back to haunt the Stags. And now another miss. So it remains a 3-point game.
67% coming into, there's a turnover. Jack Castleberry's livid there. There was a reach in by Bergens, and from the reaction of Castleberry, he's even expecting a foul called or maybe the ball tipped by Bergens. But regardless, it's another turnover. That's 7 turnovers for FDU with a little under about 1:45 to go in the first half.
Fairfield's gone over 3 minutes without a point. Bergens double clutching, going to his natural hand, the left hand, and he misses. Lead pass for Jones, tried to spot up for a 3, mishandled, reset for the Knights.
Bob, give Braden Sparks credit there. He noticed Dylan Jones open on the wing. In transition, he got out and was able to contest and not allow Jones to rise up. He did fumble the ball, but not allow Jones to rise up for the open 3.
Dangerous pass there by Emanuel, but the ball was deflected by Fairfield out of bounds. So Brown will inbound with 9 to shoot for the Knights. Emanuel hands it off to Brown. 5 to shoot. And Ncaa working on Smith. 2-1, lets it go. Would have counted had it dropped. Instead, Johnson the rebound. Sparks with under a minute to go in the half. Brings into the front court. Bleachmore, Johnson, and now Bergens. Stags have gone over 4.5 minutes without a point. Bleachmore, the runner, short. Stags offensively challenged right now, and here comes FDU. Barber Bay hands off to the big man, Ncaa. Under 30 seconds to go in the half. Brown spinning, shooting, tough shot, drops it through. Largest lead of the game belongs to FDU. Fairfield has not scored since the 5:22 mark of this first half. They trail by 5. 5 seconds to go in the half. Sparks, Bergens, a 3 at the horn is good. Just what the doctor ordered. And Bergens provides the prescription for the Stags. They needed a basket, they needed